What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at @6_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good? What's happening, y'all? What's good? Bonus time. What's good, Slade in the building? Peace. Salute. Reno Noir here, sixth element of hip hop. Co-host right here. Stu Dog. What's going down, homie? Break it down. We're gonna break it down for y'all tonight.
Ahsoka.
Phenomenal show so far.
It's been a treat.
Yeah, I've been loving it. I've been digging it. But yeah, speaking of a treat, we are here. It is a bit of a bonus. We normally do our show, guys, Monday and Saturday at 7 p.m. We used to do a show Wednesday night, but we couldn't do our show Monday for private reasons, which we will not disclose to the public.
Been disclosed. But let's move on with our lives.
But we back. We back strong.
We're back. Yeah, we're back strong.
Yeah,
King Kong.
That's right.
Ahsoka,
What'd you think?
What's up?
Yeah, man. I thought it was fucking great.
I've been liking it so far, but this Tuesday's episode. Wait, before we even start, I love the fact that it comes on at 9 p.m. That is the greatest ever for me. Like because normally
On
we gotta wait till
Tuesday.
like 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, on a Wednesday, and then so either you eating breakfast and watching Ahsoka, if it was during the original, or you just like I'll wait till the afternoon.
No.
But Tuesday at 9 is
Yeah.
great. I love it.
I thought it was
No, I'm
Tuesday
saying
at
the way they
6.
used to do it. It's 6 on the East Coast, but it's 9.
It's on 6 on the West Coast. It's 9 on our side.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's not on our side. But when they used to release it, like 3 in the morning on a Wednesday.
My man Derpy said it was ass. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Derpy Entertainment. He said it sucked. He said he wasn't feeling it.
Really, Derpy? Why? I mean, let us know why, Derpy. We like everybody's opinion. We like to, we it's okay if we disagree as long as we both understand where we all coming from. So, let us know why.
He just didn't like this. Yeah, if you got any,
you didn't like this specific episode.
Yeah. The show, I think the show is good overall.
Now to me, Derpy, I thought this was the best episode.
You thought, yeah, and I was surprised to hear you say that. No, because it's so short. Yeah, and Andor, notwithstanding, the pacing of live action Star Wars shows has been pretty shit. But when it comes to Ahsoka, I think we're like almost midway point of the season, and it feels like we've barely gotten through the introductions, and I felt like just more of that. And sure, there's definitely cool moments and stuff. A lot of great ideas. The show has some cool shit, but it very much feels like Dave Filoni is writing this as if he's got 20 episodes, instead of just 8.
So
it doesn't help.
These next what? We got 3 or 4 episodes left. 3.
I think it's 3 left. It's 8. There's 8 total. So yeah, it's 4. Yeah.
5. So it's 5 episodes. So these next 5 episodes better be like an hour and 20 minutes long or something. I don't know. At the pace they're going.
Yeah, we
can't get another 30-minute episode. That's not gonna do it.
Nah, not at the pace, not at the way he's the way that they're writing it. They were on the ships too long. He said Andor was good. He said Ahsoka is example fanboys, casuals that think Star Wars is just about lightsabers. I mean, so in all fairness, Star Wars is a lot about lightsabers. I mean, you can't just do Andor stuff. You do need the Ahsoka stuff to balance it out. And I feel like that's the big balance. Actually, I feel like it's the perfect 3 for me. My thing is you got Mandalorians, which that covers your sort of bounty hunters, fucking smugglers, the criminal gangster aspect of Star Wars. Then you got
Right.
Andor, which covers your political espionage, spy intrigue, fucking aspect of Star Wars. And then you got Ahsoka, which covers your mystical force, lightsaber, Sith fucking, aspect. So I think you need the three to create the perfect Star Wars. And I just named the only three shows that I think are fucking watchable on Disney Plus, Star Wars.
Mm,
So there's that. But
that's
yeah,
that's
out of
right.
the three watchable shows, I think they all cover their sector. You know what I mean? Like everyone has their sector. We do need that sector to have a good
So
representation. And I hate to use
what sector does Boba Fett cover?
Boba Fett's Boba. Like I say, he's not one of the three, but he would be in the Mandalorian side. He would be on that bounty hunters, gangsters, that whole aspect. Obviously, right? He's Boba Fett. He's a bounty hunter and he deals with Boba with Jabba and all of that. So all that, and we know Mandalorian was originally, the idea of it was going to be a Boba Fett show, and they didn't want to fucking risk the character, so they were like, just do a Mandalorian. They were like, cool, the success was through the roof, and so they're like, okay, now we can do Boba Fett, and then they fucking totally botched it, straight
Mm,
ass. But
mm,
like I said, man, I feel like you know with the really I mean, the plot doesn't really advance a whole lot in this episode, but we do get, three cool scenes, I think, which is and we one hell of an action sequence. There was some cool shit. And first, now that they've restarted their master apprentice relationship, we start out with like Sabine resuming her training with Ahsoka and practicing lightsaber combat, and you had Hu Yang looking like General Grievous with his four lightsaber. And I thought that was a cool thing that he's got these. The training droid had these four training sabers, and what they did was they marked the angle in which she slashed. So he was using the four sabers, and she was using her solid, wooden saber or whatever it was.
right.
And then the training sabers recorded the angle of the slice, much like a samurai would use a straw fucking dummy and and catch his, get that angle right and work on that perfect angle of the slice. And so that was a cool fucking thing. And for like samurai enthusiasts, you might have caught that. Or if you're into some cool sci-fi tech gadget, I thought it was a cool
Yeah, I
gadgety.
thought that. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I
Yeah.
said, that was some cool shit.
It was.
And there's a lot of
It
cool
was.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. The part. I like the fact that they talk about how Ahsoka and what's her name, the
Sabine,
Mandalorian girl, Sabine,
Sabine.
are like Ahsoka walked away from like Ahsoka's like I walked away from my training. I walked away from the whole Jedi
From the
Order and
Jedi
everything.
Council, the Jedi Order. Yeah.
Right. And then but you gotta remember they tried to set her up, they tried to put her in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So she
Mm-hmm.
has a sour taste in her mouth from the Jedi. But no matter what happened, Ahsoka said, I think she came to the realization of one thing, that she just keeps walking away instead of doing something about it. Like instead of
Mm.
just being staying there and fighting, she just leaves. So
Right.
I think that was one of the reasons why she decided to just start training her again, because she made a big point about how she walked away from Anakin, she walked away from the Jedi Order, and she walked away from Sabine. So I guess she's like, look, I ain't walking away no more.
Right.
Let's get this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a lot of cool shit like that. And the whole training of them, you know, a lot of people, including myself, are not really down with the fact of Sabine being a force user or because and my thing is she's already like a Mary Sue. She's already a jack of all trades. She's already like good at everything she does. And then like now you're gonna
Right.
throw force, capabilities on top of it. And it just like I'm scared of that Mary Sue, that Ray, Mary Sue that Star Wars loves to do. But I like that in this episode. I feel like they were telling us that's not the case here. Like we didn't see her move the fucking cup. right? I was,
No, she
bro.
couldn't do it.
I was
Yeah,
on
I
edge,
thought she
bro.
was
I
gonna
was
do it.
on. I was so mad. I was like, don't let her. I said, Lord, don't let that cup move. I said, if that cup moves, I'm done. I'll turn this TV off right now, and I won't watch this show no more. Dead up. Like I was that nervous, and I watched that cup, and that shit didn't move. And I just knew, like, I was at the end. I was like, this is Disney, and I said it would be so Disney if at the very end the cup just moves just a little bit. And I was like, please don't do no corny shit, and they didn't. Dave Filoni did not do that. He stayed true to fucking cool reality, man, and I'm glad. I'm glad that she didn't move the cup because it wouldn't make sense, man, for her to just I'm glad that Lucasfilm maybe is learning from their mistakes. I mean, the shit they did with Ray just rubbed everybody the wrong way. It was stupid, and hopefully they learned that there's so much more to this stuff. These aren't just like superheroes that woke up or got struck or bit by something and then they have this power. These are like martial artists who trained for their entire life for these powers, right? It's very
Yes,
different. So Disney wants to make
yes.
it a superhero thing and it's not that. And I think hopefully they learn that. But the Ahsoka and Hu Yang remark that Sabine isn't too bad at basic sword fighting thanks to her Mandalorian training, but she is too closed off from the Force for it to matter. Ahsoka's solution is to recreate the scene
That's
of
true.
Luke training on board the Millennium Falcon and the New Hope with the, wearing the blinding mask and having, relying on the Force, and she, walks
Yeah,
around
that's the
and
first thing
taps
I thought
on.
of.
Hmm. Yeah, and
I mean,
go ahead.
I thought it was dope the way they did the training with the with the blind visors and all that.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was dope how the android told her that she was the worst Jedi he had ever seen. And
Mhm.
I thought he was saying it to try to build her confidence, but he really meant that. Like, he was like, no, she's pretty. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, nah. Because when Ahsoka asked him, he was like, yeah, she is. Like, he was like, he's like, I've seen way better. And so he was like,
Yeah.
so I'm just telling the truth. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he feels, the robot feels like everybody in the audience. Like, we don't want
Right.
to see her become a Jedi. She's not good at it.
Right.
Just let her be a Mandalorian and do her thing, and everybody will be okay.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's all we really need, And but the getting Sabine back into fighting form with a lightsaber, um this practice style known as Zatochi, and giving Sabine the masked helmet and blocking the sight is a callback from the initial from the first movie where Luke trained in the same way. But the name Zatochi uh, is a blind swordsman from Japan's Edo period. So they got that same they use that name, that word Zatochi. And the fictional fighter also became like the leading character of 26 different Japanese movies in 1962 and 1989. That blind swordsman Zatochi. It was like a famous thing, and I just like when they, the whole Akira Kurosawa, influences, and I love when they sort of pay homage to those influences and let you know that that's where that influence came from. You know what I mean? I love that shit. It's kind of like an Easter egg for me. Um, but yeah, then we the New Republic doesn't believe the Empire is going to return. You got Mon Mothma and committee. They
Mhm.
end up um we see the Hera's sort of proposal was declined with the belief that not enough evidence was present for the Imperial resurgence or Thrawn's return, and she's trying to convince them that the Empire can come back, or Thrawn is coming back and he can bring the Empire back, or and likewise it was also suggested that Hera just wanted more resources to help her find Ezra, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah.
And they kind of thought that she was making the shit up. to get the resources to find her long lost friend or whatever. And then Chancellor Mon Mothma was being sympathetic, but the main opposition came from Giono, which was a returning character from Star Wars Resistance. That's a nice
Mm,
little, yeah, nice little,
that's a nice little
yeah,
tidbit.
tidbit, little Easter egg there. But yeah, man.
I like my favorite. I like the way the action picked up. Like you had the fighter ships chasing them. Ahsoka got out on the wing of the ship, cut one of them up. It was dope, man.
Yeah,
I thought it was dope.
yeah, that was
Dope.
crazy. Jumping out, yeah, what do you call it? Spacewalking and slicing ships.
Yeah,
That's I don't
slicing
know.
ships.
I don't. Yeah, slicing ships is crazy. That's something we did see, I think, in the sequel trilogy. I don't think we've ever seen anyone attack a ship with a lightsaber before Ray did it.
Before
But
Rang did it.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think so. But doing it in space is crazy. That's I don't know. And I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, that's unrealistic." The uh the ship couldn't fly. Like, come on, bro. It's Star Wars. Like,
Right, yeah.
we're
And
not
there's no
harping
wind in
over what's
space.
right.
Uh,
Exactly. We're not gonna talk about science here. It's just to be clear, people. Okay, Star Wars is not science fiction. It's fantasy. It's space opera. That's why they call it a space opera and not a sci-fi movie, because it's not science fiction.
yes.
It's fantasy with spaceships and ray guns, but that's as close to science as it gets. Nothing else about it is scientific, and was never meant to be, never claimed to be. It's in the fantasy category, you know. Nothing in fantasy is realistic.
Yeah.
You watch like a Conan movie or like one of these, Lord of the Rings. None of that shit was in medieval times. Like, that's not how medieval
No.
times were. So it's not historically real. That's why it's called fantasy. And it's the same thing with this shit. So don't get it twisted. You can't talk about what's scientifically possible. Her dancing around on the outside of the ship, chopping shit with a lightsaber was fucking feasible. Damn it. Because it's fucking Star Wars.
Yes, it is.
But it was some cool shit out there. And then we see the whole dogfight. I mean, as the master and apprentice sort of get to their destination, we get that big giant hyperspace ring, right? That big ring
Yeah.
ship deal. That's so that they can fly to another galaxy. Because you remember another thing that the last episode did for the first time, uh, was right, nine. I'm trying to figure out what that mean. I think he meant right on and hit the 9. But what the fuck was I saying? Um anyways, the big space ring, the big space, the galaxies. So Star Wars takes place in a galaxy far, far away, right? It takes place in a galaxy. We talk about the edge of the
Mhm.
galaxy and the outer rim and this part of the galaxy and and this planet and that. But it all takes place in a galaxy, right? Star Wars always took place in a galaxy, a single galaxy. For the
Yes.
first time ever, Ahsoka, this show has introduced a new galaxy. And that's where Thrawn might be at. That's where they think that he's at, and that's where he's at. And he's in this other galaxy where the Purrgil, and we're going to talk about the Purrgil in a minute, um, took them because those Purrgil, those space whales, I believe, are hyperspace capable, and so they can jump through hyperspace. And so that's how they
Yes.
ended up
Because
taking Thrawn out.
remember in Mandalorian when
Hmm.
Grogu and Mando was flying, then the Boo fighter they passed a bunch of them and they were looking
Right.
at. But I
What's up
wonder
with your
if they're gonna
camera?
put that big ring onto one of. Are they gonna What was up? Good.
Your camera's blank.
Oh yeah. Bam, I'm good.
Let me see. Let
I
me
mean, I
see
can
how it
see you.
looks
I can
on.
see myself. Yeah, I
No,
see
you're
something like
on YouTube. You're black. Your screen is just black. Your screen's completely black.
oh word.
Yeah, I don't know what it is,
Oh
man.
man, everything is good. Everything
You
is
probably have
good
to
here.
go out and come back in,
Yeah, let me try
or
that.
or mess with your camera settings or something. I don't know.
Wait, let me see something. Hold on. Let me shut the camera off.
While you work on that, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
wonder if they're building that thing that space ring to fit around one of those whales.
no, I don't think. I think of it more like you remember that one ship they got in the
Oh, and
prequels where
yeah,
like Obi-Wan
that
attached to
thing.
it and it was like a big ass ring and then he got there
Yeah, it was a hyper.
and then his
Yeah,
little
a giant hyper.
that was like a
Yeah, hyperspace ring. So you think they're gonna put a
hyperspace
smaller
ring.
ship in there?
Yeah, like a smaller, a big ass ship, but yeah, it's a giant ring because they're gonna put a big ass ship in it. Like where Obi-Wan's was smaller because it was a small little ship. They got a big ass ship, so they need that big ass hyperspace ring. That's what I think it is, and I think they're using it to go get Thrawn because I think they want Thrawn because they want their new
Mm.
leader or whatever. Um, but
But the
the
council doesn't believe Thrawn. They don't believe Thrawn is alive. And the one
right,
dude kept saying Thrawn can't be alive. But
right,
then the chick told him, like, look, like we don't know if he's alive or not. We just know he disappeared. He disappeared while he's fighting Ezra. She knows how he disappeared, but I don't think anybody else knows what happened.
right.
So she
Well,
knows there's a possibility he could be alive.
yeah, she was. Yeah, they just don't think he's a threat right now, and they think if he is alive, he's wherever he is or whatever. But they'll see soon enough. And again, man, I feel this episode, all this information should have been crammed into 1 and 2. I think we should be on to
Yeah,
getting where fucking Thrawn is. We're
I
already
agree.
again, we've only got 4 episodes. I don't want Thrawn to be in the last episode only or the last two. Like that's lame.
Yeah, but because then what
Um,
else are they gonna put him in? Are we gonna get Ahsoka season two?
I mean, hopefully, but this giant ring, or Shin Hati, right? The Marok, and the squad. So, and I think she looks just like fucking um, not Rosario Dawson.
Oh, you talking about
God damn, the
you talking about the
fucking
chick? You talking about the chick from Star Trek?
no, no, no,
Star Trek
no.
Discovery.
Black Widow, who plays back Scarlett Johansson. God damn it. I think the chick that hangs out with Ray Stevenson, the young woman with the blonde hair and the pixie cut, that's the apprentice, right? You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about? She looks just like
yeah, yeah. I know you're talking
what's her
about.
name? Scarlett Johansson. She got a Scarlett Johansson thing about her. I think she got a ScarJo thing happening. Um, but so her and Merrick and a squadron of fighters swoop in, and I think it's the best dogfight, the best Star Wars dogfight since Rogue One. It's great. Director Steph Green really knows how to frame the action and make it really thrilling, especially when the visuals work in conjunction with Kevin Kinner's dope ass fucking score. And Kinner, who always knows how to score the old motifs with the new sounds, reuses John Williams' TIE Fighter attack song from A New Hope, and fucking flips that shit. And then as cool as the scene, is at first glance, it definitely, becomes another replica of a scene from the original trilogy. So, with Sabine working the rear turret, in the bubble, and she jumps in the bubble and she's got the gun, is very reminiscent, how Luke did. So there's a lot of that in this episode, I thought, especially, her surprise and
I
excitement
wonder
over
why.
shutting down what?
My thing was though, why didn't the ship have any guns in the front? Like they didn't shoot. Like I don't get that.
I mean, they might do.
There were no
But
guns in the front of the
the
ship.
shot, the gun they shooting at is behind, or the ship they shooting at is behind them.
Yeah, it's true.
And it was
Oh,
funny though. Like if you were really watching, she got all excited when she shot her down her first ship, and like Ahsoka's sort of response was very reminiscent of Han's "Don't get cocky, kid," from when he first shot. It was very
yeah,
reminiscent.
we saw his
And I
first.
thought,
Yeah.
yeah. But the problem is not only that the scene feels too much like a nod to something else, but also the way Sabine is framed and written undermines her character. She is so she's not a young apprentice with a lucky shot like Luke was during that first, TIE fighter attack. She's a decorated war hero. She's a fucking Mandalorian, a revolutionary leader. I Why she's acting like that, and she's a great pilot. She's an experienced soldier who would not look stunned that she just shot a single fighter down. Luke was a farm boy who never had done anything like that. That's why that scene made sense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So it's like if you're gonna recopy a scene, make it make sense, make it fit the characters. Otherwise, it's just cheap, you know.
right.
And it's not just because we saw her be that way in Rebels, but because we've known from this very show that she has experience. Like Governor Ryder Azadi called her a rebel leader and commander in the first episode. So she already
Yeah.
had rank and she already had clout. And it may be a small and inconsequential moment. I know I'm nitpicking, whatever, but it's exactly what I was afraid of this show was going to do. That in order to make it a fresh experience for newcomers, that Ahsoka would retcon or ignore the character's experiences and, from Rebels and just fuck it up like that. And still, though, the dogfight looks cool. I mean, I'm not going to front.
It
It looks
does.
cool. It was
It
cool. I
does.
mean, and the show was fun. The episode was fun.
It was just short. It was very fun, but
Short.
short. Yeah.
And,
And the way it ended, like he was just like, they've landed on the planet. Go and look for them. And you see all the troops marching towards the forest, and it's over. I'm like, man, bro, I was upset. I was like,
yeah,
what?
it
What?
was
That's
dope
it?
though. I thought it was dope how they and this might have been another nod too. This man, I just now thought of that too. So hiding out from Balin and them, they in a rather weird and abrupt ending with neither closure nor cliffhanger. Hera is sort of experiencing her own echoes of the past, specifically to her many conflicts with rebel leadership in the show Rebels. And uh, on board the New Republic fleet, Hera meets with Mon Mothma and the other senators. And again, they're
Mm-hmm.
not really, buying the shit. And they're not really, they think she's making it up to try and get, Ezra back. And, just like Clone Wars filled in story beats that made the prequels better by fleshing out characters and storylines, I think this show is doing the same for the sequel trilogy in a lot of ways. The systemic problems of the New Republic, um, the resistance and the First Order conflict of the sequels. I think it makes it a more compelling conflict. And I think the show also definitely connects like a lot the lack of like decisive leadership that the Rebel Alliance, yeah, that we
Has
saw in the show
is
Rebels.
yeah.
Yeah, uh, you know,
And men, the lack of men that's in the movie, that's in the shows too. That's another problem.
the lack of what?
Men, the lack of
Men,
men.
males.
Yeah, yes, males, men.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a very female centric show,
Yeah,
and I don't
and
have a problem with that.
I don't either. But they say the acolyte is very female heavy, like
Different.
really female heavy.
It's different. Different.
It's different,
Very
different.
different. Very different. Let me explain. Ahsoka's female heavy, as in it has great characters that happen to be female. Bunch of them. Cool. They're all great characters that we like. No problem with that. Acolyte has a bunch of characters that are female for the sake of being female, and they're just female, and that's the whole sake of it, and that's what it's all about. And then they happen to also be in a Star Wars show. It's all about women this, women power, women that. Down with the patriarchy. Men are stupid and useless, and there's some Star Wars stuff. We're doing it with Star Wars costumes. Look at all the colors. This is literally verbatim words from the interviews of the actresses, not the actors, I'm sorry, the directors, the showrunners. We're using lots of colors. We think it's going to be very colorful, and we think you're going to like the colors that we used. I shit you not. And that's the difference. Okay. And that's why they cannot ever accuse me or anybody of being misogynistic or sexist. It has nothing to do with female characters. Star Wars has always had great female characters,
Female
great
characters,
strong
yes.
female characters, always. And now just to prove that the fan base is not has no like we don't hate women like Kathleen Kennedy and them hate men. And we can prove that because the Ahsoka show. Dave Filoni created this character. No one was like, "Oh, woman character, female character, don't like that." Never happened. Everybody's like, "Cool." No one thought about it. It was like, "Oh, this is a great character." People became and loved the character. And then now this show came out, and we love the show, and we love the character. Has nothing. There's no problem with her being female.
Right.
The problem is when you try to accuse Star Wars of being
She-wolf.
patriarchal. Yeah, patriarchal and not ever having any female representation or whatever. It's absurd. It's absurd. From Leia to fucking Ahsoka, dude. There's and everyone in between. There's always been great female characters. So I'm not trying to hear that bullshit. And I think this show is proof of that, you know. Now, if this show would have been ass, and we would have trashed it, yeah, then they would have been like, see, they don't like women characters. But it would have been because the show was ass. And I'm glad the show is good because now I can prove that it has nothing to do with the characters being female.
No, you just need good actors. That's all. Good actors, good story. Well, let's go.
Right. And I'm not even saying like these are good actors because the acting in this show isn't the best. I'm not gonna front and say it is. The script isn't the best. Like nothing about, but Star Wars never was. We never cared about that, dude. Look at the sequel, the original movies. Like the acting was never fucking great. No one cared about that. I mean, that was not what it was about. Um, the acting wasn't horrendous, but it was never. Nobody was winning Oscars.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't about that, and it's fine to have bad lines and bad characters, but just don't be boring with it. Just don't be such a bad actor that it's fucking boring.
That's true. I agree with that.
So
Yeah, don't do us like George Clooney. Don't do that.
yeah, Hu Yang I think is one of the best characters on the show.
Dick.
He's an absolute jerk every time he speaks. He's an asshole. He has a point in that Ahsoka's training of Sabine is a logical continuation of a long line of unconventional Jedi from which she comes. And given that list includes Anakin, Qui-Gon, Dooku, Yoda, all the best were people that people didn't think were going to be great. So, and that's an understatement. And then Merrick, I think is a cool character. The guy looks like he's got a knight's helmet. The he used to be an inquisitor, and now he's a mercenary. So he was like an inquisitor back then, when inquisitors were needed, and then now he's just selling his services. His sword is for sale, and so that's pretty cool. He's got the voice, distorted voice, which definitely makes it clear the show is teasing him to be a known character, but we don't know who yet. So it's probably going to be someone that we've, obviously known and seen before in some other show or something like that. That's kind of how they're teasing it. Um, and then the bad guy ships, I thought looked like very reminiscent of like WW2 fighters, the planes they had, like the fronts look like where propellers would be, they had the
Yep.
circular, the round barrel front thing, which was a cool little nod to, again, George Lucas's influences. The whole dog fighting, the spaceships fighting in space and all of that we take for granted today. That was George Lucas putting World War II dogfights in space. Um, Not that I'd want to see her show up, but where is Leia in all this? Because she's supposed to be a senator, and she would definitely had been interested in these talks of Thrawn, and so there should be something. They should have made her involved with the Mon Mothma scenes, I think. For fans of Rebels, I think this episode introduces Hera's son, Jason, who is somehow being babysat by war criminal Chopper. A bad idea. But this is a cool nod to the animated show Rebels.
There you go.
But the little
Chopper was a war criminal. Huh?
but the little moment where Jason says that he wishes that he could be a
Be a
Jedi
Jedi.
has a bigger meaning considering that his late father Kanan was a Jedi. Kanan was his dad. And yet there's no mention of him anywhere in the show so far. They have not mentioned Kanan yet, and I'm very surprised about that. Uh, really thought we would have heard of him definitely by now, especially once we see Jason. And when Hera talks about what she lost in the fight for Thrawn, she just mentions a vague friends and family. And then with Mary Elizabeth Winstead's mournful expression as she says that she's being only a hint of her tragic relationship with Kanan. Um, as others have noted since episode 1, I think this show may be good at making the plot accessible, but the emotional story of the show is completely lost on casual viewers. If you were not invested in like Rebels, if you didn't fully know the characters and know their backstories and all of that, the show doesn't do a good job of so far of making you really care about these characters and care about what's going on. So for the casual fan, that's where I think they're going to run into issues, and where they have run into some issues with viewership.
I just think no matter what they bring out, Star Wars wise, I think people are just gonna trash it because Disney's left a they've left a bad taste in everybody's mouth when it comes to Star Wars, and I just think
Yeah,
that everybody's just fed up. So I think like you said, the hardcore fans will like it, but the casual fans will be like, eh. But then everybody else is gonna be like, man, it was ass. I didn't like
right,
it. My popcorn wasn't ready when I started watching. They're gonna make they're gonna make any excuse because Disney has lately just been leaving a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
right.
Look at Secret Invasion. Started out good, ended bad. People
Yeah,
hated it. They were
yeah,
on a, they were, yeah. People was on soapboxes on that one because we had so much hope. There was a
yeah.
lot we could have did
I
with
thought
it,
it was gonna be
man.
dope.
Man, there was a lot you could have did with it. But Ahsoka is living up to the hype. It's just this one episode, bro. I just don't like
Mhm.
how short it was. I was literally into it, but
Yeah,
then the dude was like, it was like, yes, go into Forest and find them. And then it
it
was
was.
like,
Yeah,
and then it was like bland and the music play and the credits roll. I was like, what? I was like, yo, like
yeah.
yo, like I was mad. I was like, damn. I'm like, man, this is some bull. I
Should
gotta
have
wait all the way
went.
till next Tuesday to see
Right.
this. Oh, I was upset, man. I was highly upset, demotivated.
I feel you, bro.
But the show was good
Um,
though, man. I like it
I
so
was.
far. I think Dave Filoni is doing a great job right now.
I agree.
Some people might not feel the same way, but I
They
do.
don't. Okay, yeah.
I,
Some
I
people
I'm,
don't.
I'm yeah. I'm gonna put my 5 couch rating on it because I am thoroughly enjoying this sitting on my couch watching. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely getting 5 couches.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
You
Because
need you need
episode 1 was good. Episode 2 was my favorite before I saw the third one, but episode 2 I liked. I like when they now who is the see they're not saying who oh the Inquisitor is that's with them.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Merrick, he's
Yeah,
got
is
that
that
they got his
that's
voice
his name?
disguised, so he's gonna be probably someone that we know. Yeah.
Okay.
At
Yeah,
least
because
that's what they're acting like, but who knows if they fleshed it out or not, or if it's gonna be a season 2 thing or
well, I
what.
do know that we will see Luke. We got to see Luke in this in this
Oh, you
the new
think so?
series. Yeah, it gotta happen. We gotta see Luke because remember when she was in Boba Fett and she was talking to Luke, and the planet that Luke was on is an old Jedi planet that they used to train Jedi on,
Right.
and Luke was rebuilding a temple there for that significant
Mhm.
purpose.
Mhm.
But when she was telling Luke about Thrawn and everything that happened, I think that at some point Luke is going to come help her. And you got to remember, at this point, it looks like he's a very, very powerful Jedi. Like
Man,
one
I
of the
hope
most
that they
powerful
get.
Jedi's we've ever seen.
You know, what would be great is if they just let Luke build the fucking Jedi Temple, let us see all that, and do a whole show about him becoming fucking Legends Luke.
Oh,
Bro,
I would love that.
Legends Luke is a fucking god, bro. I just want to see
Yeah,
Legends Luke, bro. I just want to see Luke. Basically, Legends Luke, y'all, is Luke Skywalker to his fullest potential. The son of Anakin, fucking trained by Obi-Wan and fucking Yoda, fucking yeah, he has a son with Mara Jade, another powerful Jedi, named Ben, and Ben Skywalker, and Luke just becomes fucking so powerful, bro. Like the feats, the things that he does, is just crazy.
because we know if they're strong enough with the Force, they can do like if you ever watched the Star Killer on Force
Mhm,
Unleashed, he uh he brought down a Star Destroyer,
mhm.
and we saw Vader and Obi-Wan bring down that one ship and then rip the
Yep,
door off. He was just brought it down
right.
like it was nothing. He ain't struggle,
That
nothing.
wasn't
He just brought
nothing.
it right down. Yeah, he brought it down like it was, I don't know, like it was child's play.
Yeah,
And then he just,
I
yeah, then he
can't
ripped
think
the
of
door off.
anything shit like that Luke did was like way beyond that, bro.
I saw a thing on, was it YouTube the other day? Like you know how you do the shorts, and this guy
Mhm.
was talking about, he was talking about the stuff that Luke did. Like, and it was, I was like, damn. I was like, I didn't know he was that powerful. But yeah, I've heard Luke was really, he was a real powerful Jedi. By the time he got to where we're at in the timeline. Like he was like legendary powerful. That's why I don't
Oh
understand
yeah,
how. That's why I don't understand how Kylo Ren was able to, like get away from him when Luke went in there to kill him.
yeah. That was, but again, that was just Luke's fucking projection. That wasn't even Luke. Talking when he fought Kylo Ren.
No, no, not when he fought Kylo Ren. I'm talking about.
Oh.
All right. Remember when he had the dream and Kylo Ren was laying in it. He was laying in the hut, and then Luke came in
Mhm.
there and pulled the tent back and lit his lightsaber up,
Yeah.
and then he like blocked it or whatever, and then they got into it. But I don't understand how, because I know Kylo Ren wasn't as powerful as Luke. Man, as a matter of fact, it's known that Kylo Ren wasn't even really great with a lightsaber. Like we know he wasn't great with like we know it like that's like a lot of people
Right.
ask the question, they'll be like, well, why was Rey able to battle Kylo Ren? Because Kylo Ren was not good with a lightsaber. Everybody knows that. He was strong with the force and he could do some amazing things with the force.
Yeah.
But
Freezing lasers
lightsaber
and shit.
wise, yeah, but lightsaber wise, he was not great. He was actually considered like one of the worst. Um, but could he hold his own in the fight? A little bit, but he just was not a great lightsaber duelist. He just wasn't good at it. That's why his lightsaber was the crystal that he used was a synthetic one, and that's why his lightsaber was like it looked the way it did. And in order to balance it out, he built the two slots on the side, so he had the hilt, he had the lightsaber hilt, because he had to balance it because his crystal just like wasn't right for the turn red, and
Right.
he remember Snoke never finished his training, so he
Yeah.
never got a Darth on his name either, like a Ventress. She was never
Mm.
Dooku never gave her a Darth title. In order to be a Sith, you had to have that Darth title on your name.
Yeah. the shit the shit that Luke did in Legends, bro, that he never did obviously in canon, or no one's done in canon. Uh is crazy. But I couldn't remember like off the top of my head, but I looked them up, and one of them is uh force protection, telekinetic barrier that he puts around himself. Luke Skywalker used only once in the expanded universe. In Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Search, Luke was able to walk over the surface of a lava lake, one of the most impressive demonstrations of force power. His clothes were singed, but his body was unharmed. Luke used the same power in Troy Denning's Dark Nest 1, The Joiner King, shielding himself from a massive explosion. Battle meditation was another one he used. Force known as force melding allows force users to link their minds with others, and empowers them, boosting their effectiveness in battle. When force users are linked, their actions become synchronized. Da, 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 da. Luke was able to best the resurrected Emperor Palpatine in a duel in Tom Vike and Cam Kennedy's Dark Empire comic book event. With Leia empowering him through the battle meditation, Luke used the same power to bond with his Legends wife, Mara Jade, and Timothy Zahn's vision of the future. Later, he used battle meditation to lead New Republic forces to war in John Walter Williams' Destiny's Way. Resist Salamiri. In Legends, the inner rim world of Merkur is home to lizards known as Salamiri, who repel any use of the Force within certain proximity. This power was evolved as a defense against predators that use the Force. The Imperial leaders, such as Grand Admiral Thrawn, oh, that's right. That's one of these yellow lizards. So Thrawn will walk around with a yellow lizard on his shoulder. And that shit prevents Force users from being able to fucking do anything to him. They can't hit him with a force push, a force pull, force lightning, a fucking mind trick, nothing. He's just completely shielded to any force power whatsoever when he has this lizard on his shoulder.
Mm,
And it says, yeah, Imperial leaders such as Grand Admiral Thrawn use the Calamari against Jedi. Since blocking the Force, a fundamental element of the galaxy itself, is not possible, Calamari simply prevent anything near them from using Force abilities, as revealed in James Lucerno's Agents of Chaos 1 Hero's Trial. Luke Skywalker can resist the Force repelling abilities of the Calamari. Something no other Jedi could do. Electric Judgment. So Force Lightning is a dark side power, as we know. Used only by the most strongest, most powerful Sith. And there is an equivalent ability, uncorrupted by the dark side, that Luke used. Darth Plagueis disparaged Electric Judgment as a facsimile of a Sith power, given the Jedi draws upon the Force through nature rather than corrupting it. Luke used the power in James Eternal's unifying force to defeat the alien Yuuzhan Vong warrior. So Luke has fucking Force lightning. As a Jedi, that's insane. No Jedi uses Force lightning. Force concealment. Sith lords and dark side practitioners have long concealed their presence in the Force, but Luke Skywalker and other Jedi are known to have done the same in Legends continuity. In Troy Danning's Star by Star, Luke makes his presence in the Force seemingly disappear, preventing Jaina and Jason Solo from sensing him. In an even more impressive feat, Luke masks his presence as well as others around him in Denning's Dark Nest 2, The Unseen Queen. Yeah, people don't understand. Luke Skywalker was like originally supposed to turn to the dark side. Like in the original ideas, and that's sort of where the movies were going, and they changed it at the end because Luke was such a beloved character, and they thought people wouldn't buy it or whatever. But that was the original idea for the character in writing on paper. That was what they wanted to do. But so Luke has the
you mean all right? So they went in the books. They wanted to make him
no, I mean in the movies, George
in
Lucas.
the movie.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, they wanted to turn
yeah.
him in a movie before Kathleen Kennedy. in her
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, back in Return of the Jedi, when they, when the Emperor tried to get Luke to turn to the dark side and shit, like he turns to the dark side in one of the earliest scripts. Um, or I don't think it was even a script. I think it was just an idea that Lucas said he had, or whatever, or his earliest idea of how he wanted it to go. His idea of how the story was going to go. And there's also a lot of merit behind that. There's a lot to be said for, Luke turning to the dark side. It's something that, yeah, check it out. Check it out. Look it up on some. You can find it in some old interviews and stuff. There's also a book called the Jedi or the Star Wars Archive. I think it's called something like that. It's a big ass book, and it has fucking everything, dog. It's a insane book, and I think it costs grip. Like it costs a couple hundred, I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you can't even get one. Like it's a big ass book, but yeah, that shit costs grip. But
Damn.
yeah, if you can get that book, bro, it'll be it ain't nothing you won't learn from that shit. But yeah, Stu, I know you got to go, man. And fight crime. So we did the damn thing. We chopped it up. We talked about episode 3, Ahsoka, a little Star Wars goodness. Um, with some other things I wanted to mention before we dipped off. Da 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 da. Where'd it go? No. Sebastian Stan is gonna play Luke Skywalker. That's crazy. So the guy that plays Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I could go for that. I'm going for him playing Luke.
yeah. I
That'd be
always
good.
thought if anyone played Luke, it would be him.
I just think Luke.
If
I think
anyone,
Luke is old. I'm with you, Fredo. I think Luke is old a do-over as far as Star Wars is
oh yeah.
concerned in this new era because he didn't get anything. They treated him like trash. His
Hmm.
character was just thrown to the wind
Bro, do you know
instead of
how
him
much?
facing off against. Well, wait a minute. It did make sense for him not to face Kylo Ren in person because, like I said, Kylo Ren was not a good duelist with a lightsaber.
Bro, I can
So
just
the Force Ghost
imagine.
thing was cool, but like you said, he's on a planet. He's by himself. He's drinking Blue Wars titty milk. Uh, he just like the way Harrison Ford said, Han Solo adds nothing to the story of Star Wars. Han Solo added a lot to the story of Star Wars. Luke Skywalker in this version, in this new Star Wars that Kathleen Kennedy has, he has nothing to it. He does nothing for it, and it's sad because, like y'all said in those Legends books, y'all, I gotta get one of those books. He's like,
There's a whole series, man.
everything, yeah, everything revolves around Luke.
Oh, wait to hear some of these fucking powers. He got enhanced strength. He used enhanced strength to physically overpower numerous Yuuzhan Vong warriors, which are like big ass predator alien type motherfuckers. He used the force enhanced strength in Troy Denning's Darkness trilogy, breaking through spine glass, which is implied to be as a tough starship hull, and effortlessly shattering a lightsaber crystal. Yeah, it's called Dark Nest. All right, it's a trilogy by Troy Denning. That's a good Legends trilogy with some good Luke shit in it. The Yuuzhan Vong War, which is a fucking spectacular story in Legends. This is a crazy one. This is dope. Fold Space. So in Legends, Luke Skywalker learned from other Force traditions, not just the Jedi. He spent time with a group called the Ang Ti. This was a great book. I read this. So the Ang Ti monks who possess the power to teleport objects or themselves through space. Star Wars canon has explored other Force traditions, and the Ang Ti have indeed been mentioned in canon. But their abilities have yet to be mentioned. Luke Skywalker showed that he could teleport across vast distances in Christy Gold's Fate of the Jedi Omen. And that's a fucking another great legend book, Omen. It's the Fate of the Jedi story. series rather, and there's a bunch of books. They all got a different name, like one's Omen and whatever. They got like these one word names. Uh, Aina Seth. Luke Skywalker also learned the unique force power of Aina Seth from the Barando sages. That's another shit I read about the Barando. So the Barando sages, a Keldor force using group from the Doran, similar to force concealment. Aina Seth made users' brains undetectable by masking them with a form of electromagnetic radiation. In the Fate of the Jedi series that I just told you about, Luke Skywalker and uses Aina Seth to protect the late Mara Jade starship, the Jade Shadow, as it traversed the Cathal Rift. So yeah, look for Dark Nest and the Fate of the Jedi series. That's definitely a highly recommended. Obviously, my most recommended I talk about all the time is the Bane trilogy. That's definitely the best uh, book for me because it's all about Sith stuff. But if you want stuff about OG characters like Luke Skywalker and Han and Leia and like what they grow to be and their kids and stuff like that, that saga, if you want that legend stuff, you can't do better than Dark Nest or fucking the that one. Goddamn, hold up, man. What the fuck? Get off my fucking screen, you fucking asshole. I hate fucking pop-up ass. The Fate of the Jedi series. Sorry about that. Uh Another force thing, okay, Shatterpoint. There's a book called Shatterpoint. So another, if you're a big fan of Mace Windu, all right, Mace Windu has a power that no other Jedi has that he calls Shatterpoint. And it's hard to explain. There's a book called Shatterpoint, all about Mace Windu. This says an extremely rare and esoteric force power made famous by Jedi Master Mace Windu. Shatterpoints allow their users to see weak points in objects, opponents, and even situations. Like Mace Windu before him, Luke Skywalker is a superlative force user and lightsaber combatant, but these skills are exponentially augmented by his ability to detect the precise weakness of his enemies and their schemes. Although Luke has not been shown using this ability, Troy Denning's Legacy of the Force Invincible revealed that he had taught it to his Star Wars Legends niece, Jaina Solo. Oneness. One of the greatest feats for any Jedi is retaining the consciousness and becoming one with the Force. Although Luke Skywalker returns as a Force ghost after his death in both the canon and Legends continuity, the latter had Luke enter this state several times before his demise. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, but I don't get it.
Luke Skywalker has been a Force ghost before he died several times. Basically made himself go into the fucking spirit realm and become a fucking spirit while he was
So
still
he did
alive.
it. So he did it on purpose and came back.
And came back several times. Come on, bro. Oh man.
Because I do know when you disappear like Yoda did in Obi-Wan, you become one with the Force, and you can become a Force ghost,
Yeah.
like Qui-Gon.
Well,
But
he
Qui-Gon,
actually
see,
did
that's
that
the thing
shit
with Qui-Gon.
without dying.
Qui-Gon didn't. That's what I'm saying. Qui-Gon didn't disappear when he got killed. But
Yeah,
Obi-Wan
that was a
disappeared right
little.
away, right?
But
And so did Yoda.
to be fair, Qui-Gon is the one that sort of taught everyone how to do it. So maybe he was the only one that didn't have to die that way. And once he taught the shit to them, they were able to die that way and disappear. But he had to find it
Oh, and
out
become
after
right.
he died.
Oh, and become
'Cause
right
he
and
was,
become one with the Force. Yeah, because I
yeah,
read a book. I did read a book and said when they disappear like that, they become one with the Force, and they
right,
can be Force ghosts, and they can come
right,
back. And
right.
so that's why I knew when Yoda disappeared like that, he became a Force ghost, and so did Obi-Wan.
Yeah. And James
So you might be
Lucerno
right.
is another author. Well, it says in James Lucerno's The Unifying Force, which I'm not sure if I read, Luke Skywalker temporarily achieves a state of oneness, defeating countless Yuuzhan Vong warriors as he confronts their leader, Shimra Jaman. Luke would go on to use this ability again in his conflict with an apocalyptic dark side being in that Fate of the Jedi series that I recommended, combining it with one of the more remarkable force powers. Uh, ooh, Traversing the Shadows. Yeah, bro, this was this book right here. So, one of the most powerful dark side beings in Legends is Abeloth. All right. Abeloth resides in a realm where Force users separate their minds from their bodies, called Beyond Shadows. Luke is able to travel beyond shadows to learn of Abeloth and later battles her, combining his traversal beyond shadows with oneness, that power we just talked about, to destroy her. At the same time, he battles with Darth Krayt. So Darth Krayt is like this fucking god, right? Is a dark side god. And Abeloth is like this dark side fucking, I can't even, can you see her? Or she like it was like her cheek is ripped open and you could see her fangs and stuff
Oh,
inside.
gee, yeah.
Yeah, it's like her cheek is just wide open and you could just see her teeth.
Yeah.
Um and it's all fangs and shit. The Jedi Master combined two of the most astounding force powers in one of the greatest victories in Star Wars expanded universe. I mean, that right there, that's fucking goat. That's god level right there. I mean, that caps it all right there. Ain't no reason to read on. I mean, he took himself and put himself into the other side. That's crazy. But y'all, we did the damn thing. We had fun. We chopped it up. We talked about Ahsoka episode 3. Stu Dog has to get crime fighting, and we will be back Saturday, y'all, at 7 p.m. Don't worry. Every Saturday and every Monday we'll be chopping it up with you guys 7 p.m. This was just a one off, a one shot. We don't normally do Wednesday nights, but
Yeah,
hey,
we'll be back
we had to chop
Saturday.
it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
we
be
had to
back
chop.
Saturday, and I got something. I got something for you this Saturday. Something very interesting to chop it up about. Spark a
Oh,
conversation.
look what came in the mail. Look what
Damn,
came in the mail. Look at
damn.
motherfucking
Is that Joe
look at
Fix It?
motherfucking Joe Fix It.
Damn,
Joe Fix It. Boy.
that's
Yeah,
dope. That's
bro. He's
dope.
dope. He's dope.
That's
He's
dope.
dope. This is a fucking Walmart exclusive. Walmart had a collector con little thing where they had a couple of exclusive figures that they offered only on that day or whatever. And this was one. Had to get him.
That's dope.
Yeah, yeah, I got a Spawn and Batman, Spawn versus Batman comic. They got a Spawn Batman fucking 2-pack that just came out. That'll be here Friday. So I'll have that for you guys Saturday to unbox. So Stu got a surprise and I got a surprise. We're gonna have fun. See you guys then. Peace, peace,
Peace.
peace.